What a stupid day. Trae Young injured, Anthony Davis injured, the Pelicans. The Pelicans. Just big performances everywhere. Oh yeah. Happy Josh Minott Day 2.0?
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and I'm going to be taking a week off. I'm going to be going over to the States to do my best to become best mates with Gail Benson. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and thank you for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day. We are free and we are available on all platforms. 10 games on Wednesday. Nonsense things all over the shop. Some things that started to make more sense, and we see the initial opening week foolishness of coaches trying things that we know won't work stick unless you're one of those dumb dead shit franchises who continue to make the mistakes, and that is why they remain. The old DDSs. Terrible. Terrible. We had bad injuries. I'll hit it off the top here. Trae Young, knee injury. Now, Quinn Snyder did come out and say that it is not the ACL. They do the manual test for that. So anytime you see knee sprain, the teams love to put it out as knee sprain. You go, oh no, ACL, all right? But the fact that they told you immediately before the MRI that it's not an ACL means the ACL is intact. So that's good news. The worry here is MCL, which can be a 4-week injury. It could be a 3-month injury. We just don't know. So it might be nothing. It might be something completely innocuous and it's 1 or 2 days for Trae. But we keep an eye on that. We had players playing through injury and then not looking right on the court and then leaving the court due to that same injury. Just the standard stuff you see in the NBA. You know how it goes. Let's dig in. We're going to get straight into the recap. We did the waiver wire trends earlier on in the day with the waiver wire show. We've got these 10 games and we've got quite a bit for us to talk about here, so we might as well do it. First game was an early game due to the World Series. The Rockets and the Raptors is your first game there. Houston goes in with an unchanged starting group, starting Josh Okogie again. Steven Adams coming off the bench. We might as well just talk about Adams now because the line is really good. 12 and 12 steal block. You love that. He was perfect from the line. You love it. Great from the field. Love it. But 19 minutes or 20 minutes of Adams is probably not going to be enough outside of very specific scenarios. And the fact that it will be 19 or 25 or a day off means that he is very much a fringe guy that you don't need to have. You can, but you don't need to. As for Okogie, of course you don't. 10 points in 24 minutes. And that leads us to the guy that we thought would be starting, but now is just playing worse and worse. Reed Shepherd, number 3 overall pick, 7 points, 1 block still, 29% shooting, 1 assist. I would try to hold. But if a juicy opportunity arises, maybe in Atlanta, maybe a new starting forward in Boston, I would drop him.
Get that garbage out of here!
Because it is not trending well. It is only early in the season, obviously, but it is not trending very well at all. Alperen Şengün, the 3-point volume from opening night has disappeared. The great free throw shooting is also not here in this game, but still 18, 8, 9, 2 steals, 2 blocks, hard to complain. Durant was awesome with 31 points. And Jabari Smith, what a season he has started off with. 25, 5, and 5 assists with 2 steals and 4 threes. I'm not entirely convinced on Smith being this player, but the usage rise is really important. And Tari Eason's also back on track. 14, 5, and 4, 2 threes, 2 steals. You love that. Really bad start to this game from Amen Thompson. But in the end, who cares? Do we play half games? No, we play full games. 18, 9, and 7, 2 steals, good field goals, good free throws. It has not been a good start from Amen Thompson. We're well aware of this. But like I've said on multiple shows, this is not like, oh, he's never done this. He's never been a starter. We literally saw it. We saw him do it as a starter last season and cook. And yes, Kevin Durant is here. But doesn't mean that Amen can't do similar things. And now we've got a proof of it. We need to see it repeating. But he does do it alongside Kevin Durant. Now, the opponents, lol, but he did it. And that's really what we want to see in this type of situation. Let's talk about those lol-worthy opponents. The Raptors get the big win opening night, but lose again and again and again and again and again. 139 to 121. Toronto lose this one. Jakob Poeltl was out due to that back issue, which I think has been the source of all of his problems. And they did go with the rookie Colin Murray-Boyles. This team just makes no sense. I've criticised the front office plenty of times. Their starting lineup, I think it was Josh Leuenberger that tweeted this out today, their starting lineup is worth more than the entire salary cap for a team that doesn't fit together and isn't going anywhere. It's why when you view a team and talk about value of players and all that stuff, individually you can say Brandon Ingram's good player. RJ Barrett's solid. Emmanuel Quickley's pretty good. Scotty Barnes, good player. But pushing them all together doesn't make a good team. It makes a team that makes no sense. And that's exactly what this team is. Barnes, late in the game, did have a bit of a limp heading towards the bench. We just watched that. He was excellent. And his shooting from three is through the roof. Expect a huge regression. 31, 5, and 2 steals and a block for Barnesy, while Ingram had 29, 2, and 4. And Brandon Ingram's been way more than we could have hoped for. I think part of the issue why people were down on him was injury, makes sense. But his production's been great. And Emmanuel Quickley, after a really slow start, has been probably about what we thought. 15, 3, and 7. The volume's not as high as you'd like it to be, but that was always going to be the case with this grouping. And then we got a bad one from Rowan Barrett. Barrett has been good. This was not good. 10 points, 4 assists, and 2 steals with bad field goals. But he has been better than I anticipated. What about the replacement for the big fella, Jakob Poeltl? They did start the undersized rookie Colin Murray-Boyles, and he was fine. 13, 1, and 2 is fine. 3 threes is a little eye-opening because he's not a good shooter. But part of the appeal of Murray-Boyles was, hey, this bloke can get me defensive stats, and you got your 0 of them. That's not good. He is absolutely worth having at this point. We talked about him on the waiver wire show earlier today. Long term, it's not going to hold unless Poeltl is out for long term. But I don't think that Sandro Mamukelashvili is going to be a threat to his playing time. People still holding Dick for some reason. And they've probably got Grady rostered as well. He had 4 points in 20 minutes, and you just absolutely, you know what you have to do, John Armstrong. Do you jack Dick?
Get that garbage out of here!
Yeah, there is no reason for him in a 130, 150, 175 game of the day, the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Boston Celtics. The Celtics get a huge win here, 125-105 against the Cavs. Sam Merrill was out of this game for Cleveland, so they started Jalen Tyson. Dean Wade took over in the second half. And then early in the day, Donovan Mitchell was added with hamstring tightness. Went, oh God, really? He's hurt his hamstring. Great. But they played him because they're idiots. 12 points in the first quarter, 3 for the rest of the game for Don Mitchell. I don't know why teams do this. Well, I do know why. Because of crying, because of the 65 game minimums. You got to get out there, you got to gut through it. These are just things that are detrimental to teams. And early in the season, the first month, soft tissue injuries, groins, hamstrings, calves, the incidences of these are way up because of the lack of a proper preseason. This is just documented stuff. I don't understand why they keep doing it. And we're at risk here when we play fantasy from these foolish type decisions. It was not a good game from Mitchell, but we know why. As for Tyson, really good. 19-5 with 3 steals, shot the ball really well, but this is the first actually good game that he's had. And as much as I like him, I can't really suggest him as pick up outside of very deep formats, but I do think that DeAndre Hunter needs to be rostered. Hunter played 30 minutes. He didn't shoot well, but he had 18-6 with 3 threes on 29%. Mobley, 19-11, 4 assists, 2 blocks. There's still way more here from Mobley. He can do a lot more of this. We're just not getting it, but he can. And then Allen had 16-6 with a steal and a block. And after a couple of bad ones, he's been, I'd say, better than I expected, but still he's only barely a top 100 player this season. If you streamed in Lonzo Ball for assists, you got him 5 assists and a steal, and that's what he continues to do. I guess one of the biggest stories of the day was checking out Boston. What were the Celtics going to do? Where were we going to get Josh Minott starting again? Or were we going to get that rotating situation? No, he started. And he played 33 minutes, Josh Minott. And he had 11-14 with 3 steals and a block and hit 2 threes, and that is just the most absolute must-add of all time. Now, I do want you to be really cautious about this. If you look at projections, my projections, or anyone's projections, or straight 9-cat rankings, it's going to show you that Josh Minott's going to be like a top 30 player, a second-round guy, which is, of course, ridiculous. It's Josh Hart in round 1. It's Dyson Daniels in round 1. It's Giannis at 80. It's Paolo at 150. It is nonsense. It is not the way that fantasy is played. Minott probably can be a top 80 guy if he plays 30 minutes a night. He is that good on a permanent basis. And what I've loved is that permanent basis is good, but he's actually done the same things in the big minutes. You've got to grab Josh Minott now. Now, it probably won't be as good as this every game, but the amount of frothing that is coming from the Celtics, the media, the coaches, I don't think he's going back to the bench anytime soon. Same with Neemias Queta. I think that's locked in. 10-13, 3 steals, absolute must roster as well. Jaylen Brown continues to play really well, even though the hamstring continues to bother him. 30-5 with 4 assists and 4 threes. Well, did Derek White learn to shoot? No. What is going on here? I mean, this will revert, but the added usage is impacting him. 19, 5, 4, 25%. It is a buy low, but these absolute non-star level players, we did a study on this in the offseason, these non-star level players, when usage ramps up, efficiency comes down. And we are seeing that with White. It's also a similar thing happening to Peyton Pritchard. Old fast PP had 10, 3, and 10 with 2 steals. I love 2 steals. I love 10 assists. But he shot 31%. It's annoying. Don't be stupid. Don't drop him. Just enjoy it. Well, Anthony Simons played 26 minutes. He had 14 points. He's the anti-peripheral. 0 rebounds, 2 assists, 0 steals, 0 blocks. He's never going to be a 30-plus minute guy every night on this team. And this is why we faded him hard. Slam and Sammy Hauser went crazy. 21 points, all from threes. He is an excellent, one of the Sams, an excellent stream guy for threes. It is inconsistent, and I do think that Minott has taken that role, while Hugo Gonzalez, starter from 2 games ago, is out of the rotation, and he played 4 minutes here. That is 2 games done. We'll come back, and we'll cover the other 8 games plus lines of the night at the end of the show. Today's episode, though, it is brought to you by Peloton. Peloton is shaping the future of fitness with Peloton Cross Training Tread Plus. Powered by Peloton IQ, the most advanced equipment yet, designed to give you the real-time guidance and endless ways to move with your running, lifting, or cross-training with your favorite instructors. It's training reimagined, built for breakthroughs with tools that help you plan and stay motivated. The Peloton IQ system gives you real-time strength coaching, tracking your reps, suggesting the right weights, and correcting your form, making every rep safer and smarter. And the swivel screen is a game changer. You can go from running on the Tread Plus to strength training without missing a beat. So let yourself run, lift, flex, and push forward. Explore the new Peloton Cross Training Tread Plus today at onepeloton.com. We're doing the recaps for, what day is it? Wednesday. We're going to get into the third game of the day, which is, it's our mates, isn't it? The Orlando Magic. They got cooked. They got cooked by the Pistons, 135-116. Your final score. Suggs was playing in this game, starting at point guard. So we'll go back and just have a quick look at, we'll start with him and his numbers, and 8 points. Okay, so the usage is down. Hole is safe. 5 assists, 2 steals, and a block. Didn't shoot well, but he has been better than I thought in limited minutes. He's a really good player. I really like him. Part of the reason I faded him this season is I didn't know the usage would be there, and I worried about the knee injury and how much he would play. The knee injury has been the concern, but he's also back way earlier than I expected. Paolo Banchero, terrible percentages. The counting stats, 24, 11, 7, steal, block. You love that. You don't normally get the steals and the blocks. That's all great. But then he reverted from that really big free throw run to give you this absolute disaster. And it does feel like we're just going to get back and forwards on that. Wagner had 22, 7, and 2. He is feeling incredibly mid this season. He was going too early for my mind in drafts, but not as high as Desmond Bane, and that never made any sense to me. Now, Bane will get better. Players joining new teams, especially guys expected to be in sizable roles, struggle early. I had Bane outside the top 50, and I'm feeling comfortable with that at the moment. 12 points on 27% with 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and no defensive stats. I'm very confident he is going to be better than this. He'd bloody want to be, because he's not even a top 100 guy at the moment. But the idea that he could maintain or improve on what he did in Memphis never made any sense. We actually got a bad game from Wendell Carter, which is weird because it's the only game that he hit shots. He didn't miss one of them, but only played 15 minutes due to foul trouble. Don't let that dissuade you from grabbing him, especially with a game tomorrow. That meant that we got more Goga. The Dart had 10 and 6 with a block. Again, don't overreact to that sort of performance. While Mr. O'Black had 10 and 4 with a steal and a 3. And tomorrow, I don't know whether they'll start him or Tyus, who is just bad. But Black is the guy tomorrow, I think, with Suggs out, that you're going to want to stream in. Hence why I put him on the bloody cover of my streaming show for tomorrow. On the Pistons side of things, Ivy's still out, Sasser was out, but Asar Thompson, who was sick, played, and look, he was fine. Apart from the bad shooting, 12, 11, and 6, 1-1. Pretty good. Like, he's been a bit below what we wanted, but pretty good. But also, if you've been complaining about Cade Cunningham, you're good now. 30 and 6, 10 assists, 3 steals, 3 blocks, 50 and 100 from the line. That's great. Perfect. We're back. Are we fully back? Not yet, but that's great. And then Jalen Duren continues to play really well. He was excellent from the line again. Has he maybe fixed that? It is possible. 21 and 12 with a block. Very good stuff. And Toby Harris also, after a couple of really quiet games, is starting to cook. We talked about him on the waiver wire show earlier today as well. Toby had 21 with 4 assists and 2 steals. Alf Stewart continues to be ridiculously over-rostered.
Get that garbage out of here.
You do not need to be rostering the Flaming Galah. He had 9 points in 18 minutes, while Rugged Ronnie also thought there might have been a chance with Ivy out. No, move on. 10 points, 2 threes. He did have 3 steals, though, while Sam Robinson had 15 points with 4 threes in 29 minutes. But it's hard to trust what Duncan Robinson does. He gives you 3 sometimes, or he'll have you 6 points with 1 triple. You go, what am I even doing with this guy? And there lies the confusion or the annoyance with him. Karis LeVert is back, but 16 minutes. He also might be in a little bit of the washed zone. He just can't really get it going. He was dealing with a hamstring injury, but he's just not the same guy at the moment. Now, one of the big stories is the Atlanta Hawks and the Brooklyn Nets. And I'll give you a positive from this. The fact that Trae Young got injured so early in this game is that we got a bit of an idea of rotations and usage and that sort of stuff without Trae in the lineup, because he's barely missed time over the last couple of years. Now, like I said at the start, Quinn Snyder said not the ACL. Huge news. It is almost certainly to me an MCL issue. What grade or what level of absence we're talking about here remains to be seen. But without him, you need to be grabbing Nickeil Alexander-Walker. 18, 3 and 3, 2 threes, 2 steals, 3 blocks. You're going to ask me whether Minott or Alexander-Walker is out. It's both. Is both. When you've got 2, Minott can be top 100 rest of season, but you might have 2 months maybe of Alexander-Walker as a top 100. It's both. Find a way. He's going to have a huge role here. Last season, when Young went down, you'd see Keaton Wallace step in and be a good assist guy. He didn't play that much. That is interesting. He is still a good assist guy, Keaton. That's Kayson's brother. He had 5 assists here. So, okay, fine, but he's incredibly low usage. One of the questions you're going to have is, does this mean better things for Dyson Daniels? Yeah, sort of. 7 points is terrible, clearly, but he did have 6 assists. He had his 3 steals, and he took 10 shots. Now, he just cannot hit a single shot this season. Hyperbole, but 30% on 10 attempts is terrible. 1 of 2 from the line is terrible. But it should at least allow the usage to step up a bit. And the other guy to look at, if you don't want to grab Alexander Walker, is the Duck, Luke Kennard. 17 with 4 threes. I don't really think Luke is going to be a must-roster 12-team league guy, but in 175 player leagues, we can do it. Porzingis had 14, 6, and 7, 2 steals and a block, while Jalen Johnson really stepped up, 23, 7, and 5. And then Onyeka Okongwu had 12 and 14. Now, you would have hoped that we get a little bit more out of Zachary Ricochet, and I guess in terms of playing time, we did. 28 minutes for Ricochet because Alexander Walker's not playing the 3 anymore. He's playing the 1. And what did Ricochet do? 8 points. He did have a triple 1, but even though Trae is out, I don't care. I'm not bothering with Ricochet.
Get that garbage out of here.
Let's talk Brooklyn, because Atlanta only barely got past the Nets, which is not a sentence that any team should ever say, because this team is objectively terrible. They are running out all these rookie point guards and then not even playing them. Let's start with the good, though. Let's start with the poop cookie. Let's talk about podcasting legend. Let's talk about tinfoil legend Michael Porter Jr. 32 and 9 with 4 threes on 20 attempts on 60% shooting. Now, I know that there was a lot of pushback with this. There was a lot of consensus ideas that Cam Johnson's a better player than Michael Porter Jr. Find me someone who agrees with that now. I'd love to find that person now. In saying that, the reason I did not want to draft Michael Porter Jr. inside the top 70 or 80 of drafts was very simple. I thought he would be much better than that. But this team is terrible. And I think they are going to find their way into having him not play enough games through your fantasy playoffs. That is literally the reason behind it. Is that I just didn't think that he was going to be available enough. Porter has been ridiculously good. Cam Thomas, less so. 19, 1 and 3 on 30% shooting, because Cam Thomas is a bad player. Their rookie point guards, you absolutely do not need to be bothered with Ben Saraf, scoreless in 12 minutes, while Yegor Dialman, still yet to attempt a single 2-pointer this season, has 4 points with 3 assists, and is still ridiculous. He's going to get multiple jacks here. He's still over-rostered.
Get that garbage out of here.
In 150 player leagues.
Get that garbage out of here.
I've got no idea why.
Get that garbage out of here.
Just drop Yegor Dialman.
Get that garbage out of here.
Thank you. Tyrese Martin was getting minutes ahead of Saraf and Gelman, and Nolan Traore was just a DMP, and Danny Wolf didn't play either, and neither did Drake Powell. Bad team. Claxton was better, and we love to see that. Well, Terrence Mann's doing enough to be at least moved into streamer zone. I don't care enough to add him anywhere. 11, 5, and 6, or that's not true. 175 player leagues, do it. Go for it. But again, the same thing's going to be there. What's his role going to be when we get down to the pointy end of the season later on? I don't imagine it will be particularly strong. We've got more stuff to come back and talk about. Today's episode, though, is brought to you by the company that's named after the state of my abdominal muscles, Rippling. If you're a business owner, the truth is that SaaS promised to make work easier, but now the average company is buried by hundreds of apps that slow down your teams and simply don't work together. That's not SaaS. That is sad. Software as a disservice, and that's why you need Rippling. Rippling is the unified platform for global HR, payroll, IT, and finance, all in one place. They've helped millions of businesses replace a mess of disconnected tools with one system designed to give leaders clarity, speed, and control. Everything from onboarding to payroll to IT access. It runs automatically and perfectly in sync. And right now you can get 6 months free when you go to rippling.com/lockedonnba. That is rippling.com/lockedonnba. Rippling.com/lockedonnba for 6 months free. Today's episode is also brought to you by Robinhood. Your ambition just met its match. With Robinhood, you play for the win, but not just on game day, every day. Locking in on every opening and beating your PR and then beating it again. Channel that drive into your money. Robinhood puts you in control of your money. Trade stocks and ETFs, options, futures, and crypto all on one platform. And you can now build and execute your own trades from the desktop with Robinhood Legends advanced tools. Or take advantage of the new Robinhood strategies with a tailored portfolio managed by a team of experts. You expect more from yourself. Expect more from your money. Get started today at robinhood.com/yourmoney. Again, that is robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move. All right, let's talk about one of these other idiotic franchises, and we've got the Sacramento Kings and the Chicago Bulls, but the Bulls actually look competent at the moment. The undefeated Bulls, sorry, my bad. The Kings rolled out the same starting lineup, and yes, that does include Russell Westbrook in the starting group, which again makes no sense, but they are doing it. As for Westbrook, he played 29 minutes, he had 12, 2, and 4 with 3 steals, below average field goals, below average free throws. It's what he does. The steals are nice. The production's okay. If you're in a points league, you probably do add him until they come to their senses, which will be when Keegan Murray returns, I guess. In a category league, it's very dependent. I'm not rushing to do it. LaVine continues to be, honestly, the best player in this team. 30 points, 3 assists, and 2 steals. Great. Been very good. Better than I anticipated. He's just scoring at will. Sabonis, this was his best game as well. 18, 11, and 6. Helps when you go up against Nikola Vucevic, but 18, 11, and 6 is a very good game. So that's good that he's back on track. And DeRozan also was able to be okay. 19, 5, and 5. I'd say it's been quite a slow start for DeRozan, though. We had Keon Ellis off the bench again. It's really, really hard to look at Keon as anything more than a desperation steal streamer and not even close in points leagues. 8, 1, and 1. Schroeder, the Westbrook addition to the starting lineup, has cooked him already. We said that he's going to fall, and it's happened already. 5 points. Now, he did have 7 assists and 2 steals, so it's not completely over, but it's going to be over. It's going to be over real soon. I'm very certain that Schroeder will not last as a 12-team league guy, is my guess. And Malik Monk is he's being hamstrung by the lineups, absolutely. Is he worth holding? Him and Schroeder, barely for now. 15, 1, and 1 for Monk. And again, I don't really understand this team. I don't know. How has this happened 3 years in a row? Where teams have actively acquired Dario Saric. He plays for 3 games, they go, oh no, never playing again, my guy. Golden State did it. And Denver said, hey, you know what? It hasn't worked for these teams, but maybe it'll work for us. 3 games, done. And then Sacramento goes, oh, we'll take him. Give him to us. And 3 games, he's out of the rotation again. How? What is happening? Why have teams, are their VCRs broken? Do they not have access to synergy? What's going on? Why is this same thing, literally the same thing happened 3 seasons in a row? I cannot explain it. I don't understand what is happening with the Dario Saric hoodwinking. Let's talk about your undefeated Bulls, though, because they are undefeated, and we better talk about them. Their starting lineup was the same. They don't even have Kobe White available yet, which is interesting. Matas Buzelis has had a couple of quiet ones, but this is why we loved him in the top 100 and in the top 75, where he ended up going. 27, 5, and 2, 2 steals, a block, 61%. Now, that obviously will not hold, but he was also shooting 30% in some of the other games. So, yeah, the balances. The big fella, Vooch, the shooting dropped off. But what I've loved here about Vooch is the assist spike. 13, 14, and 7. Very good game. The assists are really encouraging. And Josh Giddey, not quite at the level that I'd like him to be at, but 28, 12, no defensive stats, but I'd like a little bit more. And my stream idea of Kevin Huerter continues to go on. 18, 4, and 4. He is close enough to a 12-team league guy. I'd have him ahead of Dosunmu, who played 21 minutes, but I wouldn't have him ahead of Trae Jones. Now, this wasn't a good Trae Jones game. It was fine, but 11, 1, and 5 with 2 steals, even though he shot 83%. You still want Jones, obviously Vooch, Giddey, Buzalis in any 130 and 150 player leagues. Huerter is more of 150 to 175, and then Dosunmu is more of a 175 sort of a guy, while Okoro continues to steal minutes there, 9, 4, and 2 with a 1-1. His defense is pretty good, but he's such a negative on offense that it is hard to continue to justify that he has minutes over other players. So let's do the next one. The Indiana Pacers, the Dallas Mavericks. The Pacers went with the national tile, Jarace Walker. Hello. In the starting lineup, ahead of Jay Huff. They're obviously got a million players injured. We might as well start with Walker because that's the guy that most of us are going to want to talk about. And he did deliver. He put up numbers suggesting with everybody out at the moment, I do think that you want to go and grab Jarace Walker. Today is yielding a lot of guys to grab for fantasy leagues. Walker had 20 and 6, 5 assists, 3 steals, and a block. And it could have just been way better because he shot 26% from the field on 19 attempts. You got to deal with that, but that could have been 40 points, 35 points. He's going to fill those other areas up, so he is a must grab. Pascal Siakam is going to put up numbers here too, 27, 13, 2 steals and a block on subpar efficiency. By subpar, I mean absolutely shithouse from the field and from the line. While home camcorder ESPN absent legend Ray J. Dennis did it again. 17, 5, and 5 with 4 threes in 30 minutes. Now, if you willfully submit yourself to playing on ESPN, you deserve not to have Ray J. Dennis available to pick up. It's only been 8, 9 years that I've been telling you how absolutely dreadful their platform is and how they refuse to pay attention to it. So, bad luck. Just absolutely bad luck. Can't do anything about it. When they eventually get around to adding a guy who's been in the league for over a year, then you could add him. For now, he is worth looking at short term. I wanted to try to see what Ben Shepherd could do. The answer is absolutely nothing. He might be terrible. I want my man John Furphy back. I need him in this lineup. Shepherd had 4 and 8. Now, I pushed back on people dropping Shepherd because I wanted to see what happened with as a starter. Bad. See you later. Bye. Done. Get rid of him. Useless. Aaron Nesmith, also terrible. Now, to be fair to Nesmith, one of my doubts about him was I don't know if he's going to ramp up the usage enough. He took 16 shots. The problem is, 2 of them went in. And it needs to be more than that. 5, 3, and 1 with a block. I would definitely hold Nesmith over Shepherd, but he has been honestly abysmal to start this season. His upside is not that high outside of the fact that everybody is out. But definitely prioritizing Walker and definitely non-ESPN division, looking at Ray J. Dennis. Mac McClung's first game is a 250 player league special, 2 steals, a block with 7 points. And the centers. Well, do we get anything there? Well, you know the answer to that. Isaiah Jackson got into foul trouble, 6 points, 11 minutes. Tony Bradley had 13 minutes for 6 points, and Jay Huff had 5 with 4 blocks in 21 minutes. But last game was Bradley with 25. I don't think that you can look at Huff or Bradley or Jackson as 12-team league guys. Really impossible to do that. There's so many other guys out there. Bye.
Get that garbage out of here.
We did fear a little bit that Carlo will just rotate these guys through, and once he's got opportunities to use 4 or 5 guys at a position that are all bad, he will do that. He will just rotate them through, and that is literally exactly what happened here, and has happened so far during the season. Maybe he settles on someone later on. Maybe it's Huff. I don't know. But they're all not very good, and he's going to get frustrated with them. On the Mavericks side of things, Anthony Davis was listed probable with Achilles tendinopathy or something, and guess what he left with? Lower leg soreness. Oh, yeah, cool. At least they took him out of the game. But the problem here is that the replacements are Derek Lively, injured, Daniel Gafford, injured. So Dwight Powell started the second half. Now, I wouldn't be bothered to grab Dwight Powell, even though 18 and 6 with 2 blocks is bloody good. But Gafford and Lively could literally play in the next game, and I think they're going to be back really soon. I would, if you miss out on the Minotts or the Alexander-Walkers or Queta or even a Jarace Walker, I would look to Lively and Gafford as options. But Davis, unlike Trae Young, I don't know that he's missing time. He might not miss any time. Cooper Flagg is still being played ridiculously out of position. And one of the things that could happen if Davis is out, it actually puts him back to a spot that makes more sense. 15, 10, and 4 with a block for flag is not bad, but it's not at the best that it could be. But so far, the Cooper Flag storyline is playing out almost as we expected. Start of the season, top 100, top 90. Maybe works his way to find the right position because, again, coaches sometimes take time, and we'll see where it goes. It doesn't bring anyone who's a fan of basketball any joy for this, but at times I did it as a joke. It's like, it's official. Like, Clay is done. Like, enjoy the bountiful, beautiful Megan Thee Stallion. I know that's not how you pronounce her name. Torrey Craig's ex. Enjoy that. Enjoy your life. You're done with this game. He just isn't good enough. 5 points, 1-3. The 105th ranked player for ESPN is just not worth it in even 250 player deep leagues at this point. Not worth it. Bye-bye. See you later. Paul Washington played 29 minutes. He had 9 and 11 with 2 blocks. Definitely not his best game because guess what? The Gattuso legend did it again. Bad shooting, bad free throws. This is what he does. Sometimes the PJ Washington fluffing gets a little out of control. We know how inconsistent he can be. He should be on rosters though, given what's happening. But I guess the thing we've got to talk about is two of the big... We'll talk about Powell. Wouldn't worry about that one. But what about Brandon Williams? Outside of getting arrested for weed at an airport, he had 20 and 7 in 22 minutes. He shot 64%. We saw him last season be good. Very good. And now opportunities have potentially arisen. I'm very hesitant to suggest that Williams is an ad. Now, we love getting ahead of stuff. But honestly, Lively and Gafford and Davis might literally all play next game. They push everyone big again, and he just doesn't play at all to really matter for anybody. So, it was a good game, but it's literally the first good game he's had this season. D'Angelo Russell was fine, but he played 20 minutes and got outplayed by Williams. 14, 2, and 5. I think you can roster him, but again, I'm not at all convinced that D'Angelo Russell is going to last as a 12-team, 150-player league guy. And Max Christie was okay as well, but he's more of a 175, probably a top 200 sort of a league player. But this team, they get the victory because Indiana is completely beat up, but they beat them by 2 points. They're so poorly constructed. They're so idiotically managed. They're dumbly coached. And some of the times that I even said that, like I thought Jason Kidd was one of the worst coaches in the NBA. I stand by those comments because he was. But then he improved. I also stand by those comments. But now I look back on and go, did he improve as a coach or was Luka there? Like, which one was it? Was he better or was Luka carrying? I think I know which direction I'm sort of leaning at the moment, to be honest. After the game, Kidd said that it was just some soreness. He wanted to sort of come back, which coaches always say, because they always want to protect their players in that sense. We didn't want to risk anything. So again, the Trae Young situation is way more serious to me, way more likely to be missing time than Anthony Davis is here. And you could have a situation where Davis, Gafford, Lively all play in the next game, and any value you may have had from a Lively ad or from a Gafford ad is evaporated immediately. Or, God forbid, you decide that Dwight Powell is your guy now. But nothing that happened for the Dallas Mavericks, nothing that happens for the Sacramento Kings, nothing that happened injury-wise for the Pacers means anything when you talk idiocy. Because the New Orleans Pelicans unbelievably exist. I love the New Orleans Pelicans as an idea, as a team, as a fan base, as a city, all that stuff. But this is the most inept ownership and the dumbest front office hiring I've ever seen in my life, paired with some terrible coaching as well, that leads to whatever it is that we see here. 122 Denver. 88 New Orleans. Zion was back. And they moved Jordan Poole to the bench. Okay. DeAndre Jordan, signed 3 days ago, started. Not only did they invest $6 million in Kevon Looney, who's injured currently, and they drafted Yves Missi as a center last season and traded up for Derek Queen as a center this season, they played a 38-year-old washed 10 years ago DeAndre Jordan, moving Yves Missi to the bench. And you might say, Josh, they drafted Fears overall. He flashed a lot of good stuff. They've got to see what he could do. They've got to develop him. All true. But they don't have their first-round pick. They haven't won a single game. And you cannot tell me that playing Jeremiah Fears is going to lead you to more wins than Jordan Poole would. It makes zero... And by the way, trading for Jordan Poole, it wasn't a monetary thing because CJ McCollum's an expiring contract and Pools goes longer. They took on more money in that deal. They took on longer term money. They weren't doing it as a cap move. I just don't get it. We'll start with the good. Fears had 21 points. The last game he started, dreadful. Terrible. 21, 6 assists and 2 steals. Now, if they are actually committing to him being a starting point guard, and he's had good games in nearly every game, that is an ad. I really think you have to look at him and go, we are going to have bad field goals, but we'll get occasional good ones. Come in with the idea that it will be bad. But if this is what they're committing to, go for it. Add him. People will be complaining about how bad Trey Murphy is. He is not bad. He is a very good player. It is a cold streak. Do not drop him. Buy him low. 7-7 is terrible. Zion did not play well. In fact, easily his worst game. 11 points, 0 rebounds. He had a steal and a block. Very much not good. As for Jordan, he played 12 minutes. He had 2 points. And Yves Missi came off the bench for 10-4 with 2 blocks in 24 minutes. I imagine that Missi could easily start next game, but we do not care about him in standard formats. The question is going to be, is Herb Jones this bad? Maybe. 5 points in 21 minutes. I don't think that Herb at times has been over-frothed. He's been lauded or paraded as a top 40 fantasy guy because of flawed 9-cat rankings. He is a later round guy who's inconsistent with his shooting. These minutes are very low. If I'm in a points league, you don't need to care about Herb Jones in 150 player points leagues. He's not worth it. Category leagues, you do hold him though. And then the question is, what do you do with Jordan Poole? Because 9 points in 22 minutes on 18% after getting benched 3 games in. Well, I thought he'd been playing pretty well, honestly. He did have some foul trouble here. It just doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. And yes, trading away the pick, the asset is gone. Even if you play well this season, right? Even if you play well this season, it doesn't matter. You don't recoup the pick or anything like that. It is gone. So I sort of understand that mindset, but why did you trade it away? Why did you trade for Jordan Poole and trade away a pick if you were just going to tank and develop players anyway? Just brain dead stuff. Derek Queen, the man they got with that pick, who played like 25 minutes last game, I thought he looked all right, ceded his minutes to DeAndre Jordan. He played 14 of them, had 4 and 8. I think there will be a point where Fears plays, and not Fears, Queen plays the Blizzard and is useful enough, but like, what are we doing? I have an issue with Fears pushing Poole into a smaller role because Poole's a legitimately good NBA player. My issue with Queen is that DeAndre Jordan is not a good NBA player. So why are we doing it? Why is everything just reversed? And then you get cooked by 40 anyway. Just, if anyone can find me a good decision this team makes, I'm all ears. Let me know. Let me know what a good decision they make is. Because I don't think it exists. It's just insane stuff regularly. But yeah, Fears, want to add him, go for it. Poole, I will hold 1 or 2 more. But if he's a 20-minute night player, see you later. Which, again, is mind-blowing to think that's what they'll do. Herb Jones, points, done. Trey, hold. I think that sums up that. They make me mad. The Nuggets. Everyone played, same lineup. Let's start with the question on Cam Johnson, who had 7 points in 27 minutes. I'll tell you this right now. If you're in a points league, a 150-player deep points league, I think you need to bother. Had the discussion earlier about Michael Porter. You may have skipped through that. He is very clearly a worse player than Michael Porter. Very clearly. Very, very clearly. It'll take time to get acclimated, much like Desmond Bane in Orlando. But he's not good enough to care about, to hold in a 150 deep points league. You'll be wanting to make the move in a category league. And I actually get it. I am 100% nowhere near as high on Cam Johnson for category leagues as almost any other fantasy analyst. I never have been. Because he gets by on these percentages and low turnovers, which to me is not a winning head-to-head mindset. It has to be better than this. But he was always, in my mind, going to be way worse than Michael Porter Jr. Christian Brown, good field goal. This is what it is. Good field goal game, good game. Bad field goal game, bad game. 17, 6, and 4, great. Jokic, again, doesn't even get out of first gear. 21, 12, and 10, another triple-double. with a 1-1. Huge game. Still up to number 3 now overall. And the headmaster cooled off somewhat. He only played 25 minutes because it was that easy. 17, 2, and 6. And Aaron Gordon had 9 and 10 and remains must roster. Let's talk about Peyton Watson, though. The 5-5-5 with 1 steal and 3 blocks. Now, again, the state of this game enabled him to do more. But we've seen some flashes from him. Don't overreact to it. But, I don't know. If Cam Johnson continues to suck, maybe we get something. I doubt it. I really doubt it. But it's been a couple of good ones from Peyton in a row. Couple of ripping games here towards the end of the day. The Blazers get the victory over the Jazz. 136-134 is your final score in this one. Portland with the same starting lineup. And what on earth has gotten into Drew Holiday? Like, I loved targeting with the news that Scoot was out and going to this team, but this is outrageous. Top 30 player. How? What? 27, 5 and 8 with 2 steals. Now, it is going to fall away. He won't shoot this well. Scoot will have some sort of an impact, but maybe not as much as we think. And there were a lot of people panicking on Ansel Adams' protege, Tamani Kamara. We're good now. 17, 4 and 5, 2 steals, 3 threes. Exhale. Good? Good. Jeremy Grant didn't shoot well. Okay, we knew that was going to happen. He only played 25 minutes. All right, but still, 18, 3 and 1 with 2 steals. Now, again, the problem with Jezza is what else is going on? Are you doing other things? And the 2 steals is really good. I think that it's okay to be looking at Jeremy Grant for the time being. I don't see it lasting. Well, Denny Avdia's a slightly slow start, but slightly slow still means top 50. 19, 9 and 5, steal and a block. Donnie Klingon, only 5 points. He did have 7 rebounds. He did have 4 assists. He did have 3 blocks. He was bad at his percentages. He's a guy to me that is solid enough, but I don't think there's massive upside. I don't think there's big breakout stuff, and I would be worried that Tiago split up when Rob Williams is available. He will play Rob Williams. He's already playing small when the backup is like nobody. It's Young Hun-Sen playing 3 minutes, and he's already talked about how he's going to utilize Rob Williams. So just be aware that while you might love what Klingon does, I think that he is a below average starting caliber player in the NBA, and the offensive upside is quite low. Speaking of quite low offensive ability, Shaedon Sharpe, bro. Now, I liked getting Sharpe late in drafts. I thought that he'd get a lot of usage, and I thought there'd be some sort of improvement or at least carryover from some of his efficiency stuff. He's been dreadful. He lacks a lot. He doesn't do very much. I am holding him, but like 24 minutes, 18 points, and the Ryan Anderson, 0 assists, 0 steals, 0 blocks is bad. The efficiency is terrible at the moment. He did get into foul trouble here. It's not good. He will have hot stretches, but overall, like when I'm seeing what he does and watching him play, it's like, is it just the same? It's just the same guy. Like, what has changed? Is he any better? Is he any different? If I was them, and I'm not, I would prioritize Scoot Henderson over him, but I'm not, so I don't know what they'll do. We'll find out. Let's talk other side. Let's go on to the Jazzmen, who have been really, really competitive so far this season. Let's take a look at their lineup, which was the same again. Larry Markkinen continues to be ridiculously good. What on earth is going on where Larry Markkinen draws 12 free throws, but then gets 3 steals and 3 blocks? He had 32 points. He's been like just unbelievable. I could not be more wrong on Larry so far this season. Part of my fade on him was I thought they'd be bad and he would be in trouble of not playing later in the season, but I also thought that his per game stuff was not going to be anywhere near this. He has destroyed any of my projections. Keontae George is someone that I've sort of gone back and forth on. I didn't mind grabbing a share of him in drafts this season. I thought they were going to start him, and he's again just killed any sort of expectation I had. 15 of 15 from the line, 8 assists, and the assists are continually high here. You have to roster Keontae, and at the moment, I don't think that Walter Clayton or Isaiah Collier are really any risk to limiting his minutes. I don't think you need to bother with Ace. Now, Eris did have 8 points in his 15 minutes, but it's 15 minutes. He has a subpar fantasy stat set in general, and unless you're getting pumped full of usage and minutes, those sort of players aren't worth it. So I don't think you bother with him. Mihailuk played 23 minutes, and Filipowski just the 16, and Hendricks played 15. Those guys are literally cannibalizing each other's value. I was going to say the other thing, but that was not literally what they're doing. Well, you know what? I don't know what their personal life is. But at the moment, you can't roster Filipowski in 150-player leagues. You probably can't do it in 175s, and I don't think you can do Hendricks in 200s. I liked taking a flyer on Hendricks. I thought he was going to start, but I didn't think this is going to happen. Bryce Sensabaugh also has seen his role diminish the last 2 games. Easy 150-player league drop, 12-team drop, easy. Not a concern there as we're getting other guys involved. We also got 12 minutes of Cody Williams as Will Hardy was trying some different things in this matchup. What I like about this next game is it's one of the perfect examples, one of the perfect illustrations of trusting of the process. Because not the Philadelphia way, but like in the fantasy projection and fantasy idea mindset. Because we know that with LeBron out, with Luka out, and no Marcus Smart, no Maxi Kleber, no Gabe Vincent, all that sort of stuff, Jake LaRavia was going to have opportunities. And he did. And they just were bad. Their shots just didn't go in. But as I talked about, I said, hey, I like the other stuff. The opportunities are there. The minutes there. The shots are there. He's just not doing it. And then today, 27, 8 and 2, 5-3, steal and a block, had him on the waiver wire streaming show and loved that. Now, on the flip side of this, he shot 91% here. And that isn't going to hold either. But it's, again, one of the things of the process. Is your opportunity there? Is your role there? Are you being asked to do things because everyone is out? And that was yes, yes, yes. Yes, 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 yes. Remember that? And then he delivered, finally. We also got another solid game from the Mpitsu. Rui Hachimura. 17, 5 and 4 for Japanese Harrison Barnes. And this is the time that you use Hachimura. And then you cast him aside later on. And DeAndre Ayton is also putting up very good numbers. It was easy to criticize. He was roundly criticized. I was roundly criticized for considering he was a top 75 draft pick. And he was bad. But he is stepping up and putting up very good numbers. We've got to doubt what's going to happen when guys return. But 17 and 10, stealing a block, yeah, love it. And Austin Reaves is just him. Like 28, 1, 16 assists, 2 steals. I loved him in round 3. He is flying. One of the biggest sell highs you will ever see conceptually. But who's giving you top 10 value? Nobody is. Is anyone giving you top 20? If they are, I'm not even sure, honestly. I'm not even sure that I would do it because when we headed towards the end of draft season, I was considering him at the round 2-3 turn, 24-25. So unless someone wants to give you a top 10 guy, this is ridiculous. But we know why. It's obvious why. LeBron's still weeks away. But Luka is going to impact him. He's still going to be good. But not this good. Not this good. Jared Vanderbilt had put up good numbers today. Not as good, but you still love... You don't grab Jared Vanderbilt for scoring. You got rebounds. You got 12. 4 assists. You got a steal. I would argue that that's literally just everything that you would have expected out of getting Jared Vanderbilt. And he delivered that stuff, which is great. Long term, it's not going to be something that you care about, but... He gave you, again, I would say, if your expectations were realistic, you were rewarded. On to the Minnesota side of this game. Still no Anthony Edwards, of course, out for a few more weeks. So Mike Conley's up to 28 minutes now. And honestly, 8, 4 and 6, 3 steals, 2 blocks, 2 threes is absolutely a 150-player league deep line. I don't think I care, though, because he's not going to be this good every game. 175? Sure. 14 teamers, stream him in, no worries. What we're also getting at the moment is a huge bump from Jaden McDaniels. Now, in previous years, not last year, but previous years, even when players were out, he couldn't do anything. But last season, we saw that he had an ability to ramp up when needed. Okay, leave that in our heads. We'll remember that. And it's exactly what's happening now. 30 and 7, 41 minutes. Great from McDaniel and McDaniels. Also, Randall, he's just been awesome all season. 33, 5 and 6, continually looked over in drafts. Big percentages, been great. Gobert, only 9 and 6, but played 38 minutes. He's definitely fallen off a few steps. I still think you need to roster him, while DiVincenzo remains a must roster. Not a great game, 14, 4 and 6 with a steal, but it's bloody good. It just shouldn't be sitting on any waiver wire. But we got to get to the question about sitting on waiver wires. Naz Reid, where is he in the discussion of worst contracts in the NBA? 5 and 5 in 22 minutes, 20% from the field, missed both his free throws, had 1 assist. What's the point of him? He is rapidly moving into Bobby Portis territory where he's only useful if somebody is out. And that becomes very, very, very difficult to hold. I would for now, but it's rapidly moving in the wrong direction. He looks very bad. Got one game left to talk about and lots happening right across the NBA today. The Memphis Grizzlies get the win over the Suns, 114, 113. The Grizzlies with the same lineup, but not the same rotation. And that's worth noting because Kentavious Caldwell-Pope played only 19 minutes. So his game was fine. 11, 2, and 5 on high usage with high assists. I don't really get what's going on there, but that meant that more minutes came for the chicken. Cedric Coward. Oh, my voice, it's gone. 14 and 4 with 2 threes and a block. So, was he efficient again from 3? Absolutely. He just doesn't miss. Was his usage low? Sure. Are his peripherals a little lacking? Somewhat. But for now, we hold him, we roster him. I still think that what is the most encouraging here is the extra minutes. I don't know that that's going to be an extra thing because they changed a lot here. Santi Aldama played 31 minutes, for example, and was really good. 14, 10, and 5 with 3 steals. I don't think that Santi's a must-roster guy, but that was a good game. But that is an interesting development from Coward. Wells played 29 minutes. You don't need to worry about him. While Jacques Landale had 6, 3, and 3 in his 24 minutes. Morant, great. 28, 8, and 7. And currently healthy. That's a W. Jaren Jackson. What a game. But a weird game. 18 points, 2 threes, 6 rebounds, but 4 steals. And he had a block. The 6 blocks from opening night or whatever that was isn't coming back, it doesn't seem. But he is still contributing. I know people are really disappointed with Jaren. I still think there's way more to come from him, to be honest. And he's recovering from surgery. He had that toe surgery and came back for that final 2 preseason games. I think that we've got more coming from Jaren Jackson Jr. What about on the Phoenix side? Well, we got some really, really intriguing things happen in this one with the big caveats that both Dillon Brooks and Jalen Green did not play and probably do play in the next game. But the thing that I thought would happen, and finally they realized this, is they started Mark Williams. Oscar Iguodala went to the bench. And like I told you about Mark Williams, people were panicking. And I said he is very clearly the best center on this team. 28 minutes, 20 points, 11 rebounds, 4 steals, 1 block, 82%. This man might roll top 20. Just no one surely has him on the waiver wire, but if they do, just add him. It is the most no-brainer of all time. What happened in this game, and we saw it last time with Green and O'Neal out, Green and Brooks out, is that Royce O'Neal and Colin Gillespie went crazy. O'Neal, 18, 3 and 4, 6 threes. You stream him in while those guys are out, and Gillespie is a really good player. 14, 6 and 5, 2 steals and a block. The problem here is going to be, is that when Green plays 33 minutes and Brooks plays 32 minutes, where do they come from? Now, I don't think that Ryan Dunn is necessarily going to be an every night big minute starter, but it becomes too squishy because Grayson Allen's been good. 36 minutes for Allen, 14, 3 and 4, and he's a 12-team league guy. Much like streaming in Gillespie makes sense at the moment. Much like streaming in O'Neal makes sense at the moment. But it's just going to be hard for that stuff to hold. Devin Booker was inefficient, but millions of shots, great free throws. 32, 4 and 3 for him, while Dunn also turned in probably his best game of the season, and he's only like a deeper league guy, Ryan. 9 and 6 with 2 steals and a block. As for Iguodala, the former starter, he had 12 minutes. Big Dick Richards had 0 points in 12 minutes, and I had arguments with people still arguing that Nick Richards was a threat. He was good. I thought we played this game last season, and I won. It's good for me to get at least one victory, 'cause won that one. Don't win all of them, Jordan Poole. Let's do lines of the night. Might be the right time for that, I would say. Cade gets you monstrous. Not really. I don't think that's hard to debate, although you could have had Austin Reaves in there. 30 and 6, 10 assists, 3 steals, 3 blocks for Cade Cunningham. Or as he's now known, Braid Cunningham. Hey, the waiver wire line of the night has to be Jake LaRavia. He's available everywhere. He shouldn't have been. He should have been streamed in. 27 and 8 on 91% shooting. It won't hold and it will fall off pretty quickly when guys return. Your young gun of the night, we go to Chicago. We go to the undefeated Matas Buzalis, who cooked with 27 and 5, 2 steals and a block, and the dud of the night. It goes to none other than Pacers' somewhat legend, Aaron Nesmith, RIP, in piss, your field goal percentage, because the big fella shot horribly, hit 2 out of 16 shots, 5 points, 3 rebounds, and 1 assist, and it is hard to justify him as a must-hold player. But what we are doing now is I am holding whatever, because it's the end of the show. That doesn't make sense, but I don't care because we're here, we made it. Thumb, bang, hype, subscribe, comment. Tell me your favorite Jordan Poole story. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.